Welcome to the Standing O Podcast,
a Steve and Adam comedy project.
We know a little about most things and a lot about nothing.
I am a guy who really doesn't work out. What do you think? Do you think I work out?
Yeah, no, I know that. We talked about this on last episode. We talk about it a lot now. It's coming up ever since the workout video.
So I go to the doctor the other day, and she's asking me about all these pinched nerves that I'm getting from carrying the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, for someone your age, fresh out of sports, I thought you would have some stronger back muscles. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, I looked at her and I made a joke. I was like, you sound like my girlfriend.
That's funny.
She didn't find it.
You never worked out during college or high school?
In
hockey?
In hockey, we did go to the gym quite often. Like just one season though.
And you just messed around with the boys.
Well, this guy Glenn wanted me to do a bunch of workouts, and I told him I didn't really want to. I just wanted to run. And he said, he was like, no way. And we kind of went back and forth for a little bit. And then he said, if you can bench your body weight 3 times, you can run. And I was like, okay, cool. And I did it. And I just ran every time we got there. And I did abs, worked on abs.
Not bad.
That was it. I hated weightlifting. Like I didn't like it. But I need to get.
Oh, so you don't feel inclined to go?
I need to get
weights?
in. I'm getting ready to. Like I keep gearing myself up. I haven't gotten there yet. I keep telling Angie it's coming. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it soon.
That's hilarious because, and I don't doubt it will. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen. I mean, I would bet that you do, but at like 60% odds. That's not how odds work, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, it annoys me. I'm not even a big just do it, fucking bullshit motivational quote stuff. But when people are like, no, I'm gonna get into running once it gets a little warm out.
Well,
I don't
me.
like
I'm always
running on a treadmill.
I'm gonna do this. I always say
because if you're waiting for the weather to be nice to get into running, which is what people always do. Once it gets nicer, because I hate doing a treadmill. It's like, well, running outside isn't that much better. Running stinks. If a treadmill is too bad for you, you're never really gonna get into it. It's supposed to be bad. I mean, not supposed to be. Eventually, you get to enjoy it.
Yeah, as soon as you start saying, "I'm gonna do it when the weather gets nice," or "Hey, I'm gonna start lifting weights," that's never a good sign.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it. You just do it.
Because then, what are you gonna do? Get in shape and then just stop in September?
No.
Once you start telling people, then it's over.
Yeah.
America thrives on what you're gonna do.
That's true.
Like
We're all talk.
if you're in a job, you don't just make a bunch of changes. That's how people get fired.
Yeah.
You just keep saying you're going to make these changes, and people are going to get behind you. And just if something gets done, they're like, he said he was going to do that.
That's how politics works,
Exactly. I think it sort of feathers down.
Yeah, a little bit.
Running those, I love running.
I hate
that was
running.
totally from How I Met Your Mother. What I just said.
There's a book that I started. It's all about the history of the Tumaran, who they're some old Mexican tribe of people, and they're called super athletes, and they're very hard to see, but they're known for running 80 miles within 2 hours apparently.
Wow.
And they never wear shoes. It seems impossible now. It's become more of a myth and legend than actual fact, I think. But to run 80 miles in a few hours,
yeah, that's wild.
they've been known to run down deer and kill them.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I love that stuff on any tribes, the untouched tribes are Sentinel people, the ones they killed that priest guy recently. It happened a year ago. This guy was no, I'm gonna go save them, Christianity type stuff, and they just shot him with a bunch of arrows.
I'll say, have you not seen a movie, anything about that type
because
stuff?
They've killed a decent amount of people, and we don't go over there because it's what are we gonna? Why would you do it? They're completely untouched tribe where we'd probably make them all sick and they'd all die, and for what? Why not just? They're not bothering anyone. It's the only time
them to our religion, our way of doing.
Exactly. Get them fall in line with the rest of us. But they there's pictures and videos and shit of helicopter will fly over to get pictures, and they're shooting bows and throwing shit at the helicopters. There's been a couple fishermen that a storm brought them in over there, or like they fell asleep and the tide brought them in and they killed those people. And
sounds a lot like the tribe on the Skull Island.
I was just about to say, yeah, it's a lot like King Kong.
Yeah.
My Halloween costumes are always put together an hour before.
Yeah.
Always. I don't even know
Most
what I'm
things in
going
life
to do.
are.
Well, yeah.
Piece together an hour before and it works out.
Yeah, that's true.
For the most part. Yeah.
That pretty much explains me.
Nothing wrong with that. For example, how this podcast started.
Oh, man. Talk about some issues.
Yeah. But it's working now. We shook it off, you know. Like
Bounce
water
back.
off a duck. Oh, speaking of which, my family's ducks almost died because it got so cold. So not only do they stopped the lake from freezing by like swimming in circles and shit and like just keeping the water moving. And because they need obviously the water source to drink, but also the water keeps them warm somehow. Like they trap like air under their feathers, and the water like somehow like pushes it up against them and like insulates the warm air. And I don't know, it's pretty interesting. But regardless, so if they aren't in the water, they'll freeze to death. And it got so, you know, when it was like wind chill of like fucking -15. So usually there's a shit ton of geese and they can keep it going. But my dad and Chloe scared away the geese. And what I don't know if it was intentional or not. I didn't ask, but the geese left and like they leave for a couple hours and then they've lost their ground. So then there's the wild ducks and shit. And then the wild ducks couldn't quite keep up with it. So the lake freezes. The wild ducks just fly down to the river. They're fine. Well, our stupid little domestic ducks can't fly. And like they were out like
stupid little domestic ducks.
They like my parents found them in the morning and they were like fucking all like fucking hair messed up and hobbled. Like one of them was using a cane. They were all fucked up. And so my dad, my mom and dad had to go out there with an axe and like break into the ice and like they
seem safe.
Yeah, I know, but it was thick enough to like walk on and shit. And
And
I wish I
an
would.
axe. That sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
I know. I was like, but then it was also apparently super hard because then you have to get the ice out of there, and the ducks wanted the water so bad that they're like, my dad's like still swinging it, and the ducks are jumping in the water, and he's like, "Fucking get out of there! I'll let you know when it's done." And they're like, so they were just like, I wish I would have seen it of just like my mom and dad, my dad swinging an axe
Just from afar.
Yeah,
you just see some two crazy people in the
8
lake.
ducks like crowded around, like waiting for them to finish whatever they're doing. It probably looked like he was killing the ducks when he got there to the ducks and he's swinging an axe. But either way, they saved him, and they're all good now. And the lake's unfrozen.
I have this photo of you feeding the ducks a long time ago in high school. Like they were probably some little ducklings at this point. But out of all of like my hard drive fails over the years of things that I've lost, somehow I still have a folder called Adam's Ducks.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 or 4 photos of
Do you have the one of Adam's dad holding a duck?
Yeah.
That's a great.
I don't know if I have that one.
It's a hilarious picture. I forget why. I think it's like leg got fucked up or something by a turtle, and they had to like tape it up. But there's just a picture of my dad holding it with the biggest smile on his face, and it was Howard, who is he's a huge white duck, like barely smaller than a goose. He's fucking huge, and just holding a duck that's as big as a goose almost, is just a funny thing. There's so much of them.
There's a lot of joy in that picture. It's pure joy.
It really is. It's a wholesome picture.
I'll
see if I can find it. Maybe we'll post
it. See if you can find it. I would love to see that.
I'm pretty sure you and Kelly had it like as your guys' background for a bit.
For the longest time.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about this week?
Yeah, I guess we should get going. So thank you for joining us for episode 5.
Episode 5
of the Standing O podcast.
Standing O.
My whole family watched a whole documentary on aquatic apes, and it's about how like frogs and like some turtles and stuff like used to be water animals, and then they became land animals, and then they went back to water animals. Like, you know how like dolphins and like whales and shit like have to like hold their breath or something. Like they live in the water, but they're like they were a land animal apparently, you know, and that's why, because they have like land lungs, but they don't have gills and shit, you know. And so who's to say that didn't happen with some sort of breed of Homo sapien, you know, way back when. And it started with like them like wading around in water, and then they, then like Waterworld, they start getting webbed fingers and stuff, and now they're.
And this is over the span of like a few weeks, right? Of
that
the
we watched this.
evolution. No, of that they evolve with fingers and.
No, well, not a few
Few
weeks.
hours.
This was.
I was told that in the next 2 weeks, dolphins will have human hands.
If you just kind of stand in like 3 foot deep water, it'll happen in a couple days. You'll
You just got to be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a virtue.
You gotta really
3 days, you say?
Yeah, really put it on your dream board, picture it mentally. you know?
Well, there is a Disney movie about this.
Yeah.
The 13th year, where a
Really?
kid on his 13th birthday, he starts turning into,
A mermaid?
and then you find out his actual birth mother was a mermaid.
Oh,
They never really acknowledged
Interesting.
why the dad
banged
had
a mermaid.
sexual
Yeah.
relations with it.
Which, I mean,
They showed the
who,
mother at
who
the
are we
end.
to judge? There's been some hot mermaids.
I was gonna say
out
she
there.
shows up at the end, and you like, you kind of see where
Yeah,
what
you're
the
like,
dad
I
was
see what
thinking.
the dad was thinking. He probably
Who's the
had-
hottest mermaid in
had a-
like the history of television?
Probably Ariel would be up there.
Yeah,
That's
I think
like
you'd
the
have
one
to.
mermaid I know.
I don't
Yeah,
think I know any other
by
ones.
name. but I
Harry
feel like-
Potter Goblet of Fire has mermaids, but they're like death creatures.
yeah, they look like the
yeah.
the,
Not very hot.
the aquatic
No.
apes from the documentary look like the Harry Potter things.
Oh yeah.
Whatever those
They
are
have like
called.
spears. I feel like every aquatic creature has like some type of trident.
Yeah, like Neptune.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
like, can you not shoot a gun down there?
No.
Like a photon cannon underwater?
Can you not shoot a gun underwater?
I mean, it'll shoot, but it won't travel far.
Like how
Hence
far are we talking?
tridents.
I don't know. But I
Well,
think
try
still
it.
the
Tell me.
I still think the gunpowder will still work if it's dry. So like the gunpowder inside the bullet will work. But what are you gonna live under there? You package your bullets. You're gonna get water in the gun. I don't know,
It's just
man.
more economically sound, I think, to use a trident.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get a harpoon. I think having a harpoon or like bow fishing. I've been wanting to get into that.
Some type of device that can like throw a spear
Yeah.
at like 50 plus miles per hour.
do you
That
know
can
what a-
really inflict some damage?
Do you know what an atlatl is?
No.
An atlatl?
Atlatl. Yeah.
Okay.
This is something I didn't know about until like 2 years ago, and I've been wanting to buy one because they're only like $60. You can get a decent one for like 60 or 80. Atlatl is spelled ATL. And it is a like spear throwing device. Like the spear is pretty much just a long arrow, so really thin, and it's like this like handle type thing that you like it's like hammer shaped a little bit, and the end of the arrow goes in here, and you like hold your finger with it, and you just like launch it, and you let go, and like somehow it creates an extra hinge type thing. I don't know how
And
physics
what
work.
would you use that
but
for? Like just
you-
the
you
rabbits
can-
in your backyard?
You can hunt with it. You can deer hunt with it,
Oh, okay.
which is wild. It's because like my dad just like threw it in conversation. Like there's like rules with like deer hunting. Like once you get one or two with like normal rifle hunting, then you can get another one if it's an alternative method. So like a pistol or a black powder rifle or
Bazooka.
bow. Probably not a bazooka. but
Bubblegum. Bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. That
or-
gum.
an atlatl. And I'm like, what's an atlatl? And then he explained it to me. I'm like, why don't we have one? I'm like, that's incredible.
We're way behind the ball on this.
I know, because you could just launch
Is it
a
one of those
spear.
things like you can like hold back, but if you accidentally let it go, it'll shoot like 50 yards? Like it's very
No,
easy
it's-
to mismanage.
No, because it's just a launch. It's just like, you know what a chucket is? Like the dog's toy?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I imagine
is
it's
it
just something to
the
toss.
orange thing
With
like
the tennis ball in it?
Yeah, and it just like rolls down as you're throwing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little similar to that.
Okay.
Where it's just a thing that helps you be able to throw it
So
harder
it
than
like
you
builds
could with-
momentum as you're
Yeah.
doing it.
Except
goes
it
up.
has a like, because it has
That's a
a
dog
cup
toy?
on the end.
Yeah, with
I
like
played that with my nephews.
It has like a cup on the end, and that like pushes the spear more than you could, faster than you could throw it somehow.
Okay.
And yeah, to where like, you apparently pretty easily throw the spear hard enough to kill a deer. I don't know how accurately you can do it. I assume it takes a good deal of
I
skill.
mean, I can probably throw a spear 98 mile an hour.
I would think so.
Yeah.
But you used to pitch a little bit, so
Yeah, I was a knuckleballer. So.
exactly.
I heard There's gonna be a space hotel fully up and running by 2027 or something.
Yeah, I saw that. That's gonna be fun.
Where at?
I think it's gonna be a Holiday Inn in
Right above Michigan,
yeah.
actually.
Oh,
So
wow.
you get a direct flight to Lansing, and
Now-
then
Take an elevator up.
yeah, and then they take you there. So small layover in Lansing.
Do you
Michigan.
think that hotel will have like a pool, like a hot tub and
I
a
don't.
weight room?
Probably. What's the sauna situation? 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
not
what
going to
is-
space if they don't have.
I don't stay at hotels that don't have pools. That's just like
Yeah.
a life rule of mine.
I agree with that.
What would drinking nice hotel coffee in the morning be like?
In space.
In
Yeah. What's the
space?
breakfast situation?
You know, how do you do that?
I would hope
There's
so.
continental.
I hope continental breakfasts suck.
But what's
Yeah.
going on with the gravity thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, how do we eat and drink?
yeah. I really don't know. I don't know how they eat. In
Because
space.
like you see when like they're in the ships on the movies and they're like
they're floating around. And
drinks
stuff.
or
Well, it's because they also figure out gravity.
They like somehow plug that shit in.
you just hook up gravity.
Yeah. I don't know how it works.
We'll
I
figure
haven't
it
been to
out.
Space. Space doesn't exist. Why would I learn?
Yeah.
Figure it out.
That's the number one thing I look for in my conspiracies is does someone have a motive for this? You know, like even anything that happens, I'm like, who would benefit from this information? And if you don't mind me going on a bit of a run here, and I always talk to my parents about this, and they're always just like rolling their eyes. Anything that comes out, like CBD and kratom stuff that comes out, and they're like, kratom's good for you. It helps this and this and this, and it's not an opioid. And then you also hear that it has all the same effects as an opioid and is just as addictive and all that stuff. And I'm like, yes, but regardless of which one you believe, there are people with a lot of money that would benefit from either one of those being true. You know,
Right.
the pharmacy people would benefit from you not believing in kratom. The people selling kratom would benefit from you believing that it's not as bad as opioids.
Mhm.
You know, so and I adapt that like mindset to everything. When a report comes out in the NFL, it's like, who would benefit from believing this story? You know, and like, and that happens all around the draft. It's like, a big one was like the Eagles were trying to trade Carson Wentz, and it said, and the Eagles said, we're really close on a trade. We'll probably get one done this week, and then nothing happened. And that because they were asking way too much, and no one else was willing to offer that much. The Eagles leaked that information so that, say, like the Colts offered, you know, a second round pick, and they're like, no, we're waiting for better. And the Colts are like, you're not going to get better. Let us know when you're ready to take the second. And then if that report comes out saying they're close to a trade, then the Colts get nervous and go, we got to up our trade. Someone's about to steal it. But they dug their feet in, and so did the other teams, and nothing happened. They just leaked that information. Now, it can never be proven and traced back, but
Right.
like any time information gets out, it's just like, who would benefit from us believing this? And same thing, I do that with, there's a Cascade like dish detergent commercial saying that it saves more water to run your dishwasher, even if it's like an eighth full, like 1 day's worth of dishes. It saves more water to run your dishwasher like that than to wash it by hand. And I'm like, yeah, fucking says the guy making the dish pots. You know, I'm like,
Everyone has a
I'm like,
motive.
fucking don't be telling me this shit. And then my dad, he's like, no, that is the case. And I'm like, fuck would you know? You're in bed with him all of a sudden.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that brings up a question that I had. I follow NASA, and like recently, or yesterday or a couple days ago or something, they released photos of some like robotic car that has a camera built on
Yeah.
it that was on Mars.
Yeah.
And like you think about like historically NASA, it was like always the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a pretty big thing. And like I didn't hear anything about. Maybe I wasn't watching the news. I don't know. But
I do remember, what's it, like 8 months ago when they shot the thing in to
Yeah.
send the thing to Mars or
Yeah.
something.
I don't know. I
So,
just feel like these
I
things
remember
used
it
to be
happening,
much.
but then yeah.
Well,
Much
that's I think.
grander.
Well, it's not as crazy anymore. The first time we go to the moon is the craziest. You know,
Mm.
first time's always
Yeah.
special. You would know about
Mhm.
that.
Oh,
We're doing it right now. This is
No,
the
yeah,
most
that-
well, with my high level income in today's modern technology, I don't see why I couldn't live to be at least
Mm.
250, 300 years
Yeah.
old.
I don't think so. And your stellar diet and exercise regimen.
I truly think Pop-Tarts are the answer to everything. Everything.
My mom is now into. There's this old lady. She's like 111. She survived COVID and cancer, and she attributes it to gin-soaked raisins.
Oh,
So
yeah.
my mom's gonna start eating
Hell
gin-soaked
yeah.
raisins.
Did you see? Oh, go on.
Raisins, and because my mom likes gin anyways, so she's like,
And she likes raisins. Why
Yeah.
not expedite the process?
Did you see the 118-year-old lady who's carrying the flame at the Japanese Olympics?
No.
no. Is the Olympics happening this year?
Yes.
Because it got pushed back.
Yes.
They're only
But-
doing Japanese fans, which that's a conspiracy right there.
Really?
But there is a
Like any conspiracy.
118-year-old, the oldest living person on the planet that we know of, and she is carrying the torch on a Harley Davidson.
That's
No, I'm just kidding.
oh.
But she is carrying. I don't know
Really,
how.
an American-made vehicle.
Yep. They love them over there. Granny, Japanese women love the Harley Davidson.
I bet.
And there's some new developments that I've learned recently. But for all the people out there that are like, what's so special about the Denver airport?
I'll tell you what's special.
It's the biggest airport in America, in North America by far. Maybe the world, I'm not sure. But it's also an intergalactic hub for extraterrestrial species, most notably very powerful shapeshifters who happen to be in the wealthy elite, our friends down in Washington.
Calling them our friends down in Washington. So they would have you think.
There's so many weird things about the Denver airport. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with just a couple because I actually did a project on this in college.
That's good.
I'll just do a couple. So what I remember is there's a bunch of paintings all over these murals that basically portray like mass genocide. There's like these weird like ghost looking things killing babies.
Which-
Oh yeah, no, there's
bunch of-
paintings of
But
like
that's
horses of
That's a
depict-
common type of art. Like if you've seen my apartment, it's covered in mass genocide.
That's a Norman Rockwell painting.
So there's
right there.
those, and then there's the
There's depictions
big
of like
the statue out front.
yeah,
or
very
the horse.
satanic, very biblical depictions.
Yeah, and then there's the underground tunnel system,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which I truly believe is only there for the canine dogs so they can get some exercise. That's what I've been
Christ.
thinking. I think that's why the tunnel system's there. Where else do those canine dogs get exercise? They're in an airport. They're going to get run over by a plane,
Yeah.
you know?
And not
I
to
think
mention
it's the underground tunnel.
the whole runway layout of the Denver airport is supposedly shaped like a swastika.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
I've seen the photos.
Yeah.
I've never seen it with my own eyes, and I've flown into Denver.
So you mentioned Satanists,
Mhm.
and I remember going back to a conversation we had earlier, going in too deep and Googling stuff that you would never imagine yourself Googling. I came across a picture on
There's
Reddit.
nothing I can't imagine myself Googling.
I have limits to what I Google, but I came across a picture on Reddit, and I haven't found it again. It was a picture of the wealthy elite, Washington.
Our friends down in Washington.
Our good friends down at Washington. It's like a barbecue setting. So everyone's, cooking hot dogs, have red Solo cups, beers. Nice day. But in the middle of it, there's a dead body that's open, wide open. And then in it, there's someone famous. It's like Nick Cage or something. And like all these like famous like celebrities and like powerful people. So it was Satanist cults. That's what it was. And I always try to explain this, like I said, when you start opening up about conspiracies and you feel comfortable reading people's levels, that's usually the H-bomb I drop. That's usually the one up I can make.
Okay.
Is he blind?
Is that the only question? I mean,
Did you see the video of him catching
Stevie
the
Wonder
microphone?
truthers
I did
out there.
know that.
There's a microphone
Oh,
falling
yeah.
during a live performance, and he just like grabs it,
What?
and
It's a pretty impressive catch.
it's out there.
for a blind person.
And like
Mhm.
Sam
That's
says, there was
hilarious.
one other story about an
I've heard
elevator.
stories of that someone was waiting for an elevator and the doors open up and they see Stevie Wonder by himself and he knew when to get off. He knew when to get out of the elevator. How would you know?
But because you can hear the doors open.
Can you?
Yeah.
Are they that loud? I don't think so.
They're loud enough that
Oh yeah, I mean, you would feel
This was in all right.
settle.
Maybe
Yeah,
now you
you-
can, but this
It
is
would open.
way beyond. This is what 40 years ago.
so yeah, they're probably even louder back then
Yeah, maybe.
because they're
All right. Well, I guess it's
Sure.
settled. Stevie Wonder is blind.
Well,
We
no, the
debunked that
microphone
one
thing.
pretty quick.
We still got to
microphone
debunk the
thing, stop.
microphone thing. Okay.
That
Okay.
thing.
All right.
didn't get it.
What were you gonna bring up?
Octopuses. Octopi.
Some octopi.
Octopi.
Yeah.
Octopi?
Octopi.
Octopi.
Yeah.
Like you're occupied, but you're octopi.
I don't know, like octopus. It's
Really?
because it's not you, it's O.
Octopi.
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 Can you use that in a sentence, please?
Yes. Look at all those octopi.
Octopi some pizza.
Octopi Wall Street. Well, all right. That's
Octopi the end of this episode.
yeah. Thank you for listening. If you listened this far, this was another episode of the Stand and O podcast.